anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so.
The queen stays queen.
You said Russell Feathers.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
We have ripe bananas all the time.
My prize isn't even $1 million. My prize was that I fell in love in this game. Love at first sight. Her name is Candy.
You officially go down as the dumbest ever.
Welcome to Not Game, All Personal. Hey, we are a Survivor podcast here to talk about all things Survivor, more specifically episode 2 of season 50. I'm Nathan. This is Tony. Tony, we lost our second winner of the season. So, as someone who is, I would say, president of the D fan club, you gotta feel pretty good right now. Is she just the dominant winner of the three?
She's the best winner. That's what that means. She's the best winner.
Yeah.
Sucks for Kyle getting hurt. It is what it is.
You shouldn't have got hurt, you know? That's on him.
Maybe just don't tear your Achilles. Come on, dude.
Yeah, I don't see D getting hurt, so. But yes, we did see Savannah get voted out tonight. I gotta say, I was a little bummed. A tad bummed, you know? I don't think it was a big surprise, but I would have liked to see her do a little bit more.
Yeah, I can see that argument. I mean, you know that I'm not a member of the Savannah fan club. And so purely in the context of the people who I wasn't super excited to see back, them getting voted out back to back are probably two that I'm least excited about. But also, I feel like she could have been interesting if she lasted a little bit longer, got to at least link up with Rizzo for a little bit, or something like that. I feel like there could have been something interesting there. But hey, the game's a game, you know?
The game is the game. That is true. I think especially in terms of Joe being a name that was thrown out often, and I did get fooled that that was a possibility. I think that part, going into Tribal being oh, are we just going to get rid of this? This, in terms of people that, I don't think should be on this season, he is, way above her, you know? So I think, that's also the disappointment, where it's oh, they didn't do the thing, you know? And I don't know, I don't think there's anything she really could have done. I think it was just, a combination of being a winner, having never seen her game, and then also just not having any pre-existing relationships, connections, alliances, which I think is playing into this season pretty heavily. And so I think she just never had a chance. I think the order of Jenna Lewis to Savannah was always going to be the 1-2 that this tribe was going to do. And honestly, I think most of the stuff we're seeing as far as strategy goes, and maybe it's this person, I don't buy any of it. I think this was always going to be their plan.
Mm-hmm. I do think if they knew that they were going right into a merge, they probably would have taken Joe out at that point. I think that's where I'm at with it, just because there's so much beef there, and I agree that he wasn't the most exciting player to bring back just from his first performance, but there was some real animosity, felt and they really were going at it. And apparently, from what I've read, they cut out a lot of very intense arguments and discussions about the little lie that Devins told. And I think they're both wrong. I'm not saying Devins is perfect in the situation, but that's fun. I feel like these last two episodes we've had real beef. We have the Aussie coach stuff where they really don't like each other. Now Joe and Devins, where they just have fundamental differences on how to play the game, and they're not meshing well at all. And I think that makes it more fun. And so I am excited that he's sticking around purely for that fact, because I feel like there is so much more old school than I realized in this, and so much new school, and I feel like they're at odds in a way that we haven't seen in a while. Because even Winners at War, it didn't feel like there was really that much of a contest. It feels like the old school, and that was even a different. It wasn't the mentality of school. It was just how long ago you played in kind of the new era, old era, less than honor and integrity and straight up versus the nah, this is Survivor, we lie. I don't know. I'm enjoying that piece of it a lot, in some of that tension.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. I think the only issue I have is I like to be completely honest, like I didn't find that drama particularly interesting. I think like the Coach Ozzy stuff, to me it's like we got old school drama. The conversation about like I don't want to lie while playing the game of Survivor, like I did not care. I checked out so fast when they were talking because I'm just like this is a stupid conversation. It shouldn't be like I don't know. So like that's the part where I'm like I don't think Joe sticking around for another week to see another one of those dilemmas is going to be entertaining for me. And I don't like I just like I'm over him. And I was over him in 48 where it's like I don't need to hear how he's a man of integrity. And I think like the longer he stays in the game and the closer he gets to linking up with Jonathan, and those two are just going to like the like my worst case scenario is just somehow if Jonathan, Coach and Joe all link up and it's just this like this manly man like we don't lie, we're honorable, like that is my worst case scenario. And so the closer we get to that being a potential, I'm just worried.
But you have to recognize, like, Coach lost all of his integrity now. Like after that thing with Ozzy, like he
Not
lost
to him.
all of his integrity.
Not
so
to
he doesn't
him.
stand for that anymore. So they won't even accept him, I don't think. And I will say that is fair that like that argument isn't interesting, but the fact that it feels like there's real beef and real tension between people is interesting to me. Like it feels like Joe and Devins just don't like each other right now. And like I feel like we don't see that a ton anymore. And so that piece I think is the thing that's interesting to me. And will that mean anything? Will that matter in a few weeks? Maybe not, especially with the tribe swap coming, but yeah, I don't know. That was fun for me. But yeah, the argument itself, it was very much like why'd you do this? It's like, well, that's just how the game is played. It shouldn't be. All right. And then they just keep arguing about it. And it's like, all right, you guys just disagree. They're not going to convince each other.
Here's the other weird part, though. I think I was on Joe's side for the argument. Not in the terms of, like, do not lie while playing the game. But in my mind, his conversation with Devins was so fair as far as the, like, hey, like, what did Savannah just whisper to you? And then someone who's supposed to be your ally lying to you about it. Like that was the weirdest part. Is like I think it made me mad because I was defending Joe in that moment. I was like, what are you talking about? Like this isn't an issue of like you can't lie. This is an issue of like you shouldn't lie to your allies. Like when Joe's talking about like you need to build trust, that's true. That's not saying you can't lie. You can't ever lie.
Yeah.
But like I don't know like why Devins thinks like he gets a pass of like, hey, I should be able to lie to you as my ally, and you should get over it because it's Survivor. I'm like, I don't think that's true either. But then I was reminded, like, Rick Devins is not a social player. He got voted out twice in his season. Like
fair.
He is not known
once.
for having allies.
Right?
He is not twice because he won his way back into the game and then got voted out again.
He didn't get voted out again though.
Oh, to fire, you mean? Okay.
Fire.
That's okay.
Yeah, he only got voted out once.
Sure. That's fair. Okay.
Stupid
You're
thing.
right. He got eliminated twice from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I think like that it was all just coming back. I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's not like a well-rounded player. He had his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Could he have won that season? Maybe, but like even that, like I'm not entirely sure because like his social game is like this. Like people don't really like him that much.
We think he's hilarious. Other people, some find him amusing, and then a lot of them just don't. And you're absolutely right. Like looking at it from that perspective, absolutely true. From the last episode, did you get the impression that Devins and Joe were going to be allies though? Like it felt like Devins was proposed with this idea by Ozzy, like the way that they presented it to me and the way that I read it. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I think Joe probably was right. But who was it? Savannah and Ozzy proposed this 4-person alliance with Devins and Joe. Devins immediately felt like he was hesitant to do that. And then they went in front, and then in front of Joe, Savannah's like, oh, tell him about it now. And Devins, still not fully committed to starting this alliance, was hesitant. Like, I don't know. It felt like, was it handled poorly? Absolutely. But like, I don't know. It just felt like a weird situation where he was like, I don't want to commit to this alliance, so I'm gonna whisper no. And then Joe asks him, "What do you say?" Like, "Oh, she wanted me to tell you about an alliance that I actually don't want to be in with you." Like, why set up an alliance if you're setting it up to lie to him? Like, I don't know. It was. I feel like it was a tough spot to be in. Do I think that he handled it properly? Certainly not. But that would be an uncomfortable. Like, getting Joe being like, "What were you whispering about?" It's like, I do the same thing. I'd be like, nothing, dude. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, I think I mean it more in terms of like last week. Like last week they were clearly in conversation. You know, like Joe was in with them as far as like where the vote's gonna go. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't think he's in the core alliance, obviously, like with Devins, Christian,
Okay.
and Emily. But I think like at that point, Joe assumed like we're working together because we've had conversations. I was a part of discussions of
Okay.
like weighing it, you know. So I think in that moment, and I think like even if you don't want Joe in your alliance, I don't understand this like you I think you still have to play nice, and I think you still have to like make him think that because
Mhm.
like if he thinks you're working with him, like keep that up, you know. And I think like the way you can handle that Savannah situation is like you could be honest with him and you could be like, you know, Savannah approached me about this alliance and she wanted me to tell you about it. I'm still not sure if that's the best idea, but like that's what she said. You know, like I don't think that's committing to anything. I think like if
That's true.
Joe is having conversations about like Savannah might be the vote tonight, I think that's a very honest way of saying it. Is like, hey, Savannah wants to work with us. However, I think she still might be the vote later, so like I'm not committing, but just so you know, that's what she wanted me to tell you. Like I just like don't understand how he chose like the worst possible way of putting that,
Yeah.
where now he is honestly like a pretty big target when he really didn't have to be.
Yeah. But the tough part is, at least on that tribe, he was so insulated that that wasn't going to be an issue. Spoiler alert, they're going to be on the same tribe next week, though. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen with that. Right? No, that's not true. I lied straight to your face. Never mind. I just read the
Do you have it pulled
chart
up
that I'm
right now?
looking at. That was incorrect. Yeah, it's just on the Wikipedia. One that I want, like, I'm curious your thoughts on this because Evans specifically said there's like an unspoken rule in Survivor that like you can kind of just whisper to each other and like that's just gonna happen. Do you buy that at all? Does that seem like something that? And I understand like Joe would go against that if that was a thing, but what were your thoughts on that statement that he made in a confessional? I thought that was interesting to an extent. I could see it. Not that it's a good excuse though.
I I guess, but like I think this is where because I think it was maybe it was Devins at Tribal where he was like I think me and Joe are the same where we're both kind of stubborn because to me like that's the same thing Joe is doing. It's just like making up these code of ethics and like expecting everyone to play like because it feels like he used that in a rebuttal that like Joe is asking me why I'm whispering and I don't have to tell him, which I'm like okay if it is an unspoken rule. And if other people, like previous times you played, expected there's going to be whisperings, that's fine. But like someone should call that out. Like I don't know. Like I don't understand. Like anytime you add a rule to Survivor, like especially
Yeah.
like an unspoken rule, I'm like somebody break that. Like what are we talking about? Like I don't know. I'm like
And
if you can't tell, Devins just gave a really bad taste for me this episode where like it's just a lot of to me a lot of like pouting, a lot of like he's not playing the way I want to play, even though that's what he's accusing Joe of doing. I'm like, holy cow, dude! Like, I don't understand how we can be upset by someone like playing a different game than you.
No, I think Joe really screwed up. No, I think you're right in a lot of ways, but I love Devin so much that I'm willing to
I know
be
you are.
okay with it.
I know you are.
Does it feel like I'm being fair though? While I'm still showing my Devin's love. Like, yeah, he definitely screwed that up. I'm all for that.
Maybe. I think I'm at the point where I just like I don't care about him anymore. I think whatever fondness
Oh,
I
wow.
had with him first season, I'm like I don't think I need him anymore. I think
After
We'll
one
see.
episode, you're abandoning all that fondness.
Well, I think it was 2 episodes. I think it's the combination because I'm like, there wasn't anything specific
Okay.
about last episode either. I think it's just a more of like, you see a player you really like play one time, and then when they return, it's like, oh, maybe they would have been better just the one time, because now I
Yeah.
will say I think the fake idol at Tribal, I hope that pans out because like that is a funny
Yeah,
idea.
that's fun. That's so fun.
If it
Played to
doesn't
perfection
work,
too.
yeah, if it doesn't work, he's got a lot riding on that, for my personal opinion, which I know he probably cares a lot about.
Hmm.
That's it. That's where I'm at. I don't hate him that much. I'm just
No, I think that's fair. I do think it's crazy to just be like, frick him because of that, but I definitely understand that, like, because I mean, I feel like we've seen this a million times where you love somebody the first time and they come back and you see like just another side of them. I feel like Wendell was a great example of that, where he kind of got the hero edit his first time around. The second time around, a lot of his story was like he had something with Michelle and things went weird. He kind of sucked. He kind of sucked when it came to that issue. And so like it just completely shifts how you view them. And so I could see that. I just wouldn't throw it all away after an episode, but that's just me. Christian's fall and then saying I did it on purpose was pretty great though. Like he told them like, oh, I did that on purpose. And they were like, oh, good one, Christian. And he's absolutely did. Like that was dynamite. He just told them what he did.
Joe is
yeah,
gonna love when he realizes that Christian was telling the truth. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. What a hero. It definitely wasn't deceptive still. But just like, yeah, I hope that pans out. I hope that I wonder if they wouldn't have showed it to us if it wasn't going to matter at some point, whether it was like blowing up in one of their faces or like something successful.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that because I'm like, okay, there have been fake advantages before and also real advantages that they haven't showed us, like where it's just like this doesn't affect the outcome, so we're just not going to include in the edit and we find out about it later. This one, I was trying to think, I'm like, is it possible that there was no way to edit the end of Tribal without this, so like they had to include it and it might not matter either way? That I don't know, where it's like, oh shoot, like this ties right into Tribal Council, so
yeah.
we have to show it. That's my only fear as far as the edit goes, but I don't know. I have to assume it means something. And like I love the move. I love that it's like I think I said this last week, but I love that we have people where they acknowledge like this is Survivor 50. We want to make an entertaining show and we want to do something that's like never been done before. And I think like
Yeah.
it certainly shows them like having years to process these ideas. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think specifically it feels like Devins was the one that headed this one up, but like, ever since he played, he's probably like, oh man, that would have been cool if I tried this, or like, why has no one done this? And so like, I don't know. I love that we have like professionals coming back and like getting to flex some of the stuff they've been thinking about for a long time.
Now imagine he goes to pick it up to fool everybody and then he realizes there's two things there and there was already an idol the first time he hit it right there. And so he just was like, oh, there's actually a real one here. And he finds an idol without a clue. And then what a legend.
Well, I did see someone say that this is going to point out who the actual superfans are because Jeff has made it clear ever since Winners at War that they will never hide an idol at Tribal Council, mostly because like he
Did
doesn't
he?
want
I didn't
people.
realize he did.
Yeah, he doesn't want people tearing the setup, which seems like a weird reason, but so like it is known that like that will never happen. So it will take the right type of
That's such a
person to like fall
Stupid
for it.
reason.
Yeah, it's not the dumbest thing
Sounds like
Jeff has
a-
said about the game,
No, sounds like an Aussie thing. They have hit him at an Australian Survivor, and that's one of the like fun wrinkles where it's like, oh, we're doing something cool here. But no, of course not. Don't want to hurt their little set. It's so cute. But yeah, it felt like that. I don't know. It was very interesting to see the amount of people that went to like protect Devins in that situation, though. Where like I'd never felt like he was at risk. It always felt like it was between Savannah and Joe, and then maybe Ozzy wanted to take a shot that direction. But it always felt like it was between those three. And so at least on that tribe, he's pretty well insulated. Yeah, it wasn't great, and it probably won't look super great long term, depending on like especially now that they're splitting and how we've seen how things can change, like the story can change or it can be manipulated by certain people. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens, but he's got a squad that's right for him so far.
Yeah, I think this is part where I'm like, there's part of me that's like glad they're swapping tribes. There's another part of me that like thinks it's too soon, but I do think a lot of these like pregame alliances are really coming into play even more than like we realize.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't know, like there's no reason why he shouldn't have been more of a name last night. You know, like if Joe's a name, why isn't Devin's a name? Like why aren't there actual serious conversations of like, is this gonna hurt us? Like there was nothing. And so I don't know, part of me like wants to just like brush past the next week or so until we can like eliminate, you know, those extra people and just like we can actually get like gameplay within, you know, these people that like clearly have come in with pre-existing relationships. Because again, like I mean, it's how it goes. Like I'm not complaining. I understand it's part of it, but like the loyalty that like is shown to him right now based on what we as the viewer are led to believe is almost nothing is like that can't be true. You know, like that cannot be true. And I'll even say like I think the same thing with like Cirie and Ozzy. You know, I think like yes, their names have been thrown out. Although Cirie's name not thrown out at all this week, which is bizarre considering she was almost an option last week. But I'm like, I don't.
They just said Ozzy and didn't even mention her. I was stunned that she wasn't even mentioned.
Right. And so I think that really hints to me. I'm like, okay, I don't think Cirie and Ozzy were ever a real option. I don't, you know, I think like the show wants us to think like, well, maybe they'll go for Ozzy tonight. But I'm like, no, like that's not a real option.
And I don't think he wasn't a real option because he's in on these alliances. I think Cirie just carries so much weight in potentially these preseason groupings that it's like, we're not going for Ozzy. And they're all like, yes, madam. We're not going for Ozzy. We'll go for somebody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, in retrospect, bad shot by Jenna to go for the person who's super insulated, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Cirie just really pulling out all the moves she's got, and it's working. Like she is doing wonders around these people. And I think similar to like Jenna last week, I think Savannah was the one that called it out this week, where she was like, "You guys notice how much Cirie's protecting Ozzy?" And then the same thing, they're like, "Don't talk about her. You're out. you can't talk about her that way."
She definitely had good reads. I feel like both episodes, she called out exactly what was happening, and I don't think it was like a super hidden thing, but like she definitely clocked it and said it, and so like there's value there for sure. Oz also is not subtle at all, and so when they're like, "Hey, we're thinking Cirie," and he goes, "Never Cirie. We will not vote for Cirie. That's not happening." And they're all just like, "Oh, that's weird. That's a weird thing that you just did."
Yeah.
That's always gonna give them the hint.
Yep. Anything else on this tribe that we need to get into?
I don't think so.
Of course, that was the majority of the episode since they were the one tribe that went to tribal. Can I ask, how are they getting rid of these people? How is... I thought for sure we were going to get 2 tribal councils. But like, why are 2 tribes winning immunity when there are still 21 people in the game with like what, a week left at this point as far as Survivor game?
What are we looking at for finale? Do we know?
I mean, even with, I think this is like day 6 or something.
May 20th. Oh, so even time wise there. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so like I'm just very fascinated because they're gonna have to do some crazy things. And I have a feeling we're going to see some form of elimination we've never seen before, and I'm kind of worried about that. But, like, they got to do something. And I literally thought the solution would be, hey, this season, only 1 tribe wins immunity, 2 are going to tribal council. You know, and that's just, like, not the case. So I'm like, oh my goodness, like, there's a lot of people still in the game.
I think, like, post-mergatory... when they split into 2 groups, I think that they've done this before where each group will also be fighting for an individual immunity and each group will vote someone out. They'll probably do that. So that'll be 2 people in one night. I think probably stuff like that will be the move. Or maybe even after this split, they'll vote 2 people out. Yeah.
Yeah, because
timing-wise,
it's
tough.
day 6 Savannah went out, so that means there's 20 days left to get out. What is that? 18 people. That's insane. That is like an absurd. Like they're gonna have to go to tribal almost every single day.
And this is telling me May 20th is what we're looking at. So how many weeks away is that?
I feel like it's an usual finale. As Tony's counting.
9, 10, 11 more episodes. So it'll be 13 episodes is pretty average. So yeah, it must just have a few that we're going to pick off a bunch of people.
Well, all right. What other tribe do you want to go to next?
I want to go to Kahlo, the tribe.
All right, tell me, what do you think about them? Why do you want to go there? What's on your mind?
Because it's the next alphabetically and in the list that I'm looking at is the main reason. But also,
Right.
I don't know. I feel like the big thing is they're continuing to show us that Chrissy is kind of alienated from everybody, or for a couple people have pointed out. I guess I don't know if that's like a tribe spanning thing. And they're definitely building up Jonathan to be more of like a strategic threat than we know him as. And whether or not that's real or not, I'm not sure. But those feel like the two big things that they showed us. And we got a lot of D confess. I feel or like at least one long D confessional, and so I was a fan of that because go D.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the tribes. I mean, like for both the other tribes, I think I'm a little bummed. Actually, I'm really bummed that like we don't get a tribal council with them before they swap tribes,
Yeah,
because it's
Yeah.
hard to know like even one tribal council, you get such a good grasp on where people really stand, you know? So it's like what is Jonathan talking about? You know, there's part of me that wants to be like, he thinks he's doing this, but actually he's just going to do the same thing. Because I'm like, he says all this, and I was expecting, like, after that confessional to see some, like, I don't know, strategizing with another player. Does he start an alliance? But, like, no, he just goes fishing. Like, he has this big confessional how he's, like, playing different this time, and then he's like, okay, I'm going to go get some food for my tribe. I'm like, wait, what? Like, have we seen him have like a game conversation? Like I don't think he's like in an alliance, you know? So like I'm so fascinated to like what that is going to lead to.
yeah. It doesn't feel like there's. It feels like if he was talking about this, they would show it to us.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they haven't showed us anything. So it feels like they're building him up to crash and burn. I also do just want to mention Coach getting a cramp in the water. Like I would bet if you told me to pick a person on the cast that was going to get a cramp in the water and have to get taken back and then like hobble back to their camp, I would have put $1 million on it being Coach every single time. That is so on brand for him.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I mean, you can just see it too. Like you can see the envy he has with like Jonathan being out there and being like, oh, it used to be me. I'm like, dude, you might have to hang it up. Just go chill with Mike White, you know?
He said Jonathan saved my life. Right after a confessional where Jonathan said Survivor always has safety boats and like divers. And then he said he saved my life, man, and I don't take that lightly. He didn't. He just didn't. Like, why are you lying about this? There's no facade. It showed you get into the boat and get driven back. It didn't. Yeah, it was freaking Coach, man.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. The other people on this tribe, I know like last week we saw kind of this alliance form with Camilla D and Tiffany. I don't think we saw like anything from them as far as like the three of them. And then the other person is Charlie, which I like. I'm just waiting. I'm like, what is he doing? Like, what is his game? Like, his game was very much like, I have this secret, you know, this secret duo, and I'm like casually like playing the middle and also like leading where the votes are going, you know, like a very strong game. People know him to be a very strategic player. And again, I'm just assuming it's because their tribe isn't going to tribal council that like we're not seeing what's going on, but like I'm just like waiting. I'm just like, I am so curious to see what game he's going to play, and I still don't think we have any idea.
No idea. We just know that he's firmly anti working with Chrissy. He's done working with old women, he said.
As he should be, you know. That's, you know.
Yeah. Frick Maria.
Didn't go well for him.
Yeah. It is weird knowing that's like how he played last time, that he doesn't have like that person that he's linked up with. I mean, we saw the conversation last week with Mike White. That I feel like would be the number one person that I would think maybe there's something there. But like other than that, unless he could like one of the girls potentially, but like Tiffany, D, or Camilla, but the rest, it's not a tribe of people that I would love to link up with and be like a duo to the end with, just personally. And so maybe that's part of it, is he just hasn't found the right person, or the person that he pre-gamed with is not his tribe currently.
That's true too. And like I said last week, it's weird that like we get nothing with him and Tiffany. The fact that like they played a season together, and they we haven't even been shown them interacting. Like not even just casually on the beach or like nothing. I was like, I know they're having a conversation. They have to be. There's only so many people you can talk to. Like, what is their conversation? It's like, hi, sorry I didn't vote for you to win the game. You know, hi, sorry I blindsided you with an idol in your pocket, or, you know, like that. It's so weird that like these things aren't being shown to us, and so like. My assumption is if they are having conversations, it's not going to be relevant to future episodes, which is a little like it's a little bit of a bummer to me, you know, because I think like Tiffany and Charlie, like
it's a little bum.
You know what I mean? Just a tiny one,
it's
not
a
big
little
one.
bum is just really funny. It's a bummer. It's a little bum.
That's how we'll be used to describe it from now on. But no, I think like that is best case scenario, is like whoever Charlie pregame with is just not here, and because I want to see him work, you know. I think like,
or they're just the tribe that's won everything. Like that's also and they haven't lost anyone. Like the other Vatu, they haven't voted anyone out, but we had to see a lot of what was going on so that Kyle could be taken out, and that could have some like emotional weight to it because he was cooking a little bit. So they're just. That's the nature of like, I feel like modern Survivor is like, if you win a lot, we just don't know about you until the merge. Like there's probably stuff happening. He's probably got alliances, but there's not enough time even in an hour and a half episode every week.
Yeah, well, let's go to Vatu then, because I think they.
I do have one more thing with Kahlo. Yeah. Camilla being really sad that Kyle was gone made me sad. But then the way, I'm sure the conversation happened longer, but it felt like Jeff was like, hey guys, Kyle got medically evacuated. And then coach just goes, I just want to say my honor was questioned. And I just want to say, clear the air. This is what happened. He said this to Q and I said nothing. So I am honorable. And it was just like, dude, it just felt like, is this the moment for that? Like, what do you do? We're upset about Kyle right now. And then that little beef is just alive and well, and I'm excited about it because then Ozzy was like, "All right, dude, if you say it." Yeah, it was good.
I think for everyone's best interest, you have to keep them in the game. You know, like, if you rob us of voting them out before they get to be on the same tribe, like, no one will forgive you as a person. So, like, Don't do it. Just leave them in. Let us see them merge, please. But yes, coach is the best.
Same tribe when they switch.
You're going to have to break it down for us in a second. But Vatu, I think there's like a few things of why we know more about them. I think the Kyle thing is definitely like that was set up as a, you know, hey, here's like the major alliance here. Kyle's in many ways the center of it. He gets off. Now they're having to regroup. There's a couple missing votes. They're including Rizzo. And I genuinely think like they are just thinking more ahead strategically than like maybe almost any other tribe. You know, it feels like they're very much like having a lot of conversations, very much confirming like what's going on. And then you got Aubrey, who is just like, I don't even know. I almost just like feel bad for her for the edit she's getting because she looks miserable. She looks stressed out. She looks like she does not want to be here. And I did see she was a last-minute replacement. I think they were really hoping Amanda would be in her spot, and Aubrey like was one of the last people to be cast. So there is that. But like, Amanda. I don't know, man. I don't think Aubrey should have come out here. I really don't.
No, and we completely skipped over the fact that Christian found the idol and then it was Christian, right? And then he gave it to Aubrey. Also, just to note, they should be required to say Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol whenever they talk about it. They shouldn't be able to just say Boomerang Idol.
Yes.
So like that, it felt like that was like the lifeline that she needed, and it felt like all of our suspicions of her not connecting were validated just in like her response to that. Um, and that's tough. And like I don't know if she'll be able to like circle the wagons. Oh, look at me having phrases. Circle and like just compose herself and go forward into this next thing. But I do think that she needs this switch more than most people, because she, like her and Chrissy, I feel like are two people that probably need it the most, because I feel like they're comfortably next on the chopping block for each of their respective tribes.
Yeah, I think the question is just like, do they realize that? You know, like because I don't
Yeah.
like we haven't seen
Aubrey felt
Chrissy
like she did.
have. Aubrey did. I don't know if Chrissy did. So like, if Aubrey gets on a
Yeah.
tribe with Chrissy and is like, "Hey, we're on the bottom," Chrissy's like, "What are you talking about?" Like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know, and I think like maybe her being added last minute didn't let her get any of these like pregame alliances in. Like I wonder if that's the case. She also like
Mhm.
doesn't really have
Yeah.
like she was on Game Changers with Suri and Ozzy. I don't think they had like a huge working relationship. She was on Edge of Extinction with Devons. Now they weren't on the same tribe, but they definitely spent time on Edge of Extinction together. So like
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's like who is that person she's going to connect with? And obviously there's a lot of people here who don't have any people from their season and they're doing fine. So like I don't think that's necessary, but it just feels like she's in a very tough place, and I just don't know if like mentally or emotionally she's able to like pull herself out of it right now.
And I just don't know that she's her style of gameplay is like, I don't know, a desirable game to play with. Like she's kind of, I don't know, she's a strategist. She's always been known as dangerous. I don't know. I don't know that she's the person that you're like some of these people you're like, "Oh, I want to work with that person." I don't know if she is that right off the bat, honestly.
Well, and I
And
think
that matters.
especially in a season like this, your social game I think is so much stronger in a returning season, because I think like on your first season playing, you can kind of disguise your game as whatever you want, you know? And so like if you're a strategist like her, you don't have to let that all out right away. But like once people know that, it's almost like your social game needs to pick it up so that people don't remember that you're a threat and see you as much more. And I think we're seeing that where it's like, I don't know, Rizzo seems to be winning some people over just based on like him being him, you know? Why are people like wanting to align with Q so much? I think it's because he's like a very fun person to be around, you know? So I think like your social game is huge in these moments, because like it almost like distracts people from like the game you played. And I think for Aubrey, like if that social game isn't there, her threat game is the only thing people are seeing in her.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The social game is meant to just pull the wool over the eyes of the people that you're playing with in a lot of ways. If you don't have that, you're screwed.
True.
Also with this tribe, though, like I don't know, it's so interesting to see the fallout of Kyle leaving and seeing like Rizzo get pulled into that main alliance, and feels like Q is in such a good spot. Like it wouldn't surprise me if he went pretty deep into the game. Um, yeah, I feel good about a decent amount of people on this tribe currently, but now with the swap, like you never know. But those two specifically come to mind as like they've definitely made out ahead at this point.
Yeah.
But then Rizzo isn't with any of these people after the swap, so that's tough.
Well, should we break down the swap? Because
Yeah.
there's definitely some fun things. The biggest thing that stood out to me is the new oh shoot, which one was it? Just had it. The new Vatu tribe. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because it consists of Christian, Mike White, and Angelina, which is very fun.
You know what's crazy? I looked at these and thought, oh, no one is with somebody that they've played with before except for Colby and Coach, and they were never on the same tribe. And there's 3 people that were all together. I'm just dumb and didn't recognize that all 3 of them are together.
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna be targeted. I'm so interested to see how that's gonna be navigated with some of these people.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so Emily's also with them. So you have to wonder, like, does Emily and Christian's alliance still be strong? Okay. You
Yeah.
have Q and Stephanie, who were in alliance together.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mhm.
were also on the same tribe with Angelina. So do they look to Angelina as like, hey, you know, we were previously on a tribe together. We, you know, like, do they look to her for a number, knowing that like the two of them can't get it done alone? That could be interesting. And so to me, the odd person out is really Ozzy, who was technically on a tribe with Christian
I was
and
gonna
Emily,
say.
but like, how close are they actually? Because Emily definitely threw his name out. So I wonder if Ozzy is going to be on the hot seat next time around.
Yeah, Ozzy's one surprise. Like it's surprising to me that he never played with Stephanie because they feel like they are from the same era initially. But yeah, he definitely in that tribe feels like the odd one out. The only thing is like if he's out, that's a pretty weak physically tribe. And so if you think that you're gonna be in this tribe for a little bit, do you want to get rid of really your only like strong comp? I mean, Stephanie's solid, Q's solid. Like some of these people are pretty strong, but he's like the challenge guy on that tribe. They don't have a Joe, they don't have a Jonathan, they don't have one of those big guys
Mm-hmm.
to kind of
Yeah.
muscle through it.
No, you're right. Yeah, it's just I don't know. But then I also wondered like how close are Christian, Angelina, and Mike? Like, are they actually going to be close allies? You know, that's
Yeah.
the other question.
Because Christian said with the boomerang idol, like he suggested sending it to Angelina after saying, "Do I send this to somebody thinking that they'll get voted out?" Like it wasn't
and
a positive.
the tone he said it was so
action.
funny. He's like, what if I send this to Angelina? Like, as in that would be the funniest thing ever. So like, I just
Like that's a bit. And then he was just like, "Yeah, I'm sending it to Aubrey." Like it felt like such a switch up where I was like, "Oh, what Aubrey? What did he mention that?"
yeah.
Yeah, so that was a weird thing for sure.
Mm-hmm. The other tribes we have Sela, which I'm trying to pull this up now.
Joe is with some of his old school mentality players. He's probably gonna link up with like Colby and Coach.
Wait,
Do
so I'm
Colby and
trying
Coach?
to-
Do you think they hate each other? Feels like they do.
Colby and Coach?
Yeah.
Preseason interviews, they definitely wanted to work together.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I don't know if that's gonna like continue, but like they both said separately, and I think it's just because of that like old school mentality where they're like, yeah, we get it, we know what it's like. So I would assume they at least connect on something.
At a glance, this tribe, and I don't know.
Wait, we're talking
the
about
stuff with
Kahlo,
Chris-
right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at Sela for some. Okay, yeah. So like I think, yeah, I think Aubrey and Genevieve is the other interesting one. Like they're back together, and the only person they're bringing with is Colby. So it's like, do Colby and Genevieve stick together, keeping Aubrey out like they were, and do they include Coach? And then like, I don't know. Like, does Coach use his Chrissy card? Because Chrissy wanted to work with Coach at one point. Like, that could happen, which
Yeah.
is kind of funny. Which would kind of leave Tiffany on the out. And then you got Joe,
Tiffany
who
feels
is
like
like,
the odd one out to me a lot.
Joe is not really connected with anyone initially that we know of. So, like, this one feels like the most random where you have several people that could be on the bottom.
Yeah, I think it just my thought would be Tiffany feels like the clear odd one out, which is tough. But also, I don't know. This is such an old tribe.
It is an old tribe.
Genuinely.
Yes. The youngest
Like
is
Tiffany's the youngest
Genevieve.
at 34. Tiffany and
Tiffany and
Genevieve are both
Genevieve, yeah.
34. But still, 34 is and then you got 3 people in their 50s. Yeah, that's an old tribe. And so that it makes me think one of those younger people has to go, and Genevieve has the in with Colby, and so she'll probably be okay. And so that, yeah, Tiffany feels like the one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I just don't like what's Tiffany and Chrissy's relationship like, you know? Because I think like you kind of have the bottom of almost every, like Joe felt like he could be the next to go. You have
Mhm.
Aubrey, who felt like she could be the next to go, and then Chrissy. So it's like you have all of these people that are
Yeah.
now all together who very easily could have been the next on their tribe. So I don't know. It's random, and I I have a feeling we might see them because I don't know. I don't know if they would win the the next challenge.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And then finally, the New Sela tribe, which we got Devins and Suri together. We got Charlie, Camilla, and Dee. Oh, and Jonathan. And then
Mhm.
Rizzo, who is the odd one out. Which, honestly, like for Rizzo,
Yeah.
he's used to that. So, like, I don't know if this is going to, like, hurt. He doesn't have any of his allies that he built, but, like, this could test him. Like, maybe see if he can do it again. Or he could just be the easy vote.
It's so dependent on what that 4 does. It's dependent on what like we don't know where Charlie has been at, and now it matters. Is he with Camilla and Dee? Is that a solid 3, or is he with Jonathan, or is he a free agent? Does he want to play with Devins and Suri? Like, to me, Devins and Suri, they're gonna want to go after Rizzo because Rizzo might want revenge for Savannah. That feels like it seems pretty obvious to me, and so I feel like we don't know enough about this 4 because they're the biggest group from that Kahlo tribe, and we don't know much about them other than they don't like Chrissy, and Coach
Yeah.
is insane. That feels like the what we know from that tribe.
Completely agree. It depends on what the 4 does and if the 4 is even still together, at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like,
And do they all just turn on D? Because that's
that's
definitely a
the thing. Like,
possibility.
Jonathan wanted to target D. So, like, does Jonathan get
Yeah.
with these new people and being like, hey, I'm willing to lose one of my numbers, and does he just not include D, Camilla, or Charlie in that? That could be.
Mhm.
Which would be incredibly lame if I'm being honest. I would not
Yeah.
love that, but it's possible.
Out of this tribe, she's not the one that I want to go, but that's not surprising coming from me.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Anything Survivor?
Nope. I think that's
Great.
all I got.
All right. Well, fun season. Looking forward to next week. For
Such a
more
delight.
episodes, visit notgameallpersonal.com. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere listen to podcasts. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube at NJP Pod. That's at NJP Pod. I'm Nathan. This is Tony, and we'll see you next week.
19 seasons, 2 pals, 1 podcast. It might be 18 seasons. I might have screwed that up.